Hey, we're continuing in 2 Timothy, and we are in chapter 3. And remember, it's kind of a long passage. It starts actually in verse 1, and it will go all the way through verse 9. But today we're going to look at verses 6 and 7. So he's continuing this depiction of this last days generation, this moral deterioration that's going to take place. Verse 6, he says, "They are the kind who work their way into people's homes." One of the last things he said was they have a form of godliness, but they reject the power to actually, or they have a form of religion, but they reject the power to make them godly. He says, "They are the kind who work their way into people's homes and win the confidence of vulnerable women who are burdened with the guilt of sin and controlled by various desires. Such women are forever following new teachings, but they are never able to understand the truth." Now, I don't think we can need to limit this to just females. The cultural context probably made females at that time perhaps a little more vulnerable than what they would be today. But I think that, this is certainly true of men as well. His point is this spirituality that has no moral boundaries, that has no union with God and His truth, that has nothing to awaken the conscience accurately, that has nothing to expand the God-enlightened reasoning faculties. When I say God-enlightened reasoning faculties, let me pause for a minute. It means this. We've all had those times in life where we have some kind of a desire or some kind of a temptation, okay? But in an ideal time, our God-enlightened reasoning faculties, they rise up and they say, hey, don't do that. You know that's wrong. You know that's destructive. Think about the long-term price that could bring, the hurt to others, the hurt to you. When our spiritual God-enlightened reasoning faculties and conscience are strong, they control those desires, they suppress those desires, they redirect our thoughts, and they ultimately cause us to function the way God intends us to function. Whereas false spirituality, it gives us a sense of satisfaction, spiritual satisfaction, but it atrophies our real spiritual faculties, our God-enlightened reasoning faculties, and our conscience. Therefore, we can live just completely unbridled, doing whatever we want, and still talk about spiritual things. And I bet you, all of us have met people like that or have people like that in our lives. It's becoming a more normative thing. Now, he's talking about a particular kind that they work their way into people's homes and they try to find people that are spiritually vulnerable and then take advantage of them. And they do so by providing these false spiritual teachings. I don't want to pick any one particular group, but probably all of us have had certain groups that come knocking on our doors, and they want to present to us a version of spirituality that frankly is not accurate with the Bible. This doesn't mean that they are all the enemies of God and that they might not, in spite of the bad teaching they have been affiliated with, be real Christians, but that would be difficult in some cases. But the point that he's trying to warn here is be careful. Just because someone talks spiritual and sounds persuasive and has philosophically stimulating ideas, be careful, because that can rope you into a form of spirituality that is entirely false. Any kind of spirituality that's not uniting us to God as He's revealed Himself in Christ, and that is not causing our God-enlightened reasoning faculties to be expanded based on the truth that God has revealed about Himself in His Word, and our conscience to be recalibrated and strengthened. Be careful. That's false spirituality, though it may be fascinating and interesting and have all kinds of philosophic twists and turns and things of that nature. Paul is kind of saying, look, there's certain people that you don't even want to let them in your door because they are persuasive and they are spiritual sounding, but they're dangerous people. All right, we'll stop there today.